Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Standard Definition, the Retro Nostalgia Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, is my hero and a half shell, that retro code, Eddie V.
It's radical, dude. With this movie, I don't know.
Okay, you're fired. You're fired. The only person's opinion I care about is our TMNT sensei himself, LaMont Reed, is back.
Yes.
Hi guys, how's it going? How's it going? Everybody doing all right? Everybody doing good after this this movie?
Yeah.
This film in motion. Oh boy. Ooh. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. So we are talking about the 2007 animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that serves as I think originally it was supposed to be like a quasi sequel / reboot to the live action movies. There's a lot of Easter eggs to the live action movies in this, which we'll get to. And the whole storyline is pretty interesting. But before we get to that, we're going to get to our Patreon producers. Remember, if you want to support Standard Definition and the Boss Rush Network directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. It is a subscription-based service where you can support your favorite creators directly monthly. We have two tiers. We have the $1 tier where you get 5 shows early access. 5 shows, everybody. Early access. Or you can subscribe to the $5 tier, which grants you early access to all these shows, plus a Patreon producer credit. So without further ado, our Patreon producers for this episode of Standard Definition are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, my wife, Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, Rebecca Jewell, and Prince Unsmooth Toes. I want to thank all of our I want to thank all of our Patreon producers. I want to thank all of our patrons. And I want to thank all of our free listeners. Remember, all of our content remains free. You just get a few perks for supporting us. If you do listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating or review. We really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody who watched these episodes on YouTube also, because the Ninja Turtles episodes are our highest viewed episodes of this show, and it really makes me feel good that we could accomplish that, especially the first movie. That first movie, man, took off like a rocket ship. So yeah, thank you everybody. If you are watching on YouTube, please leave us subscribe and a thumbs up and hit the bell for notifications, because you'll get notifications every time we put up a podcast or a video. We do put up a podcast daily, so you can check that out. Anyways,
I think the entire world can agree that the first Ninja Turtle movie is the best.
Oh yeah, it's by far the best.
And talk about it.
I was looking. Did you know they made a 4K Blu-ray Steelbook for that? Like some limited thing. Yeah, I was looking. I was scrolling through eBay at work today because I was like, man, I kind of just want like a nice set of my favorite movies, not necessarily like a huge movie collection, but just like, like a nice set of like 4K maybe steelbooks or whatever, because the entire Indiana Jones trilogy steelbooks were on sale for $15 at Best Buy like a couple weeks ago. And it got me thinking, like, I don't really want a lot of physical media around anymore, right? Like, I just, if something happens to me or when I get older, and I'm going to accumulate so much stuff over the rest of my life that I'm just like, look, I remember cleaning out my grandparents' house and I see how much stuff my parents have that, like, I just don't want to, like, the stuff I have is the stuff I have, and I'm actually trying to clear out some stuff. But I think a nice, like, set like of like 20 or 30 movies and like a steelbook kind of lineup would be kind of nice. And there was a steelbook for this first movie. I was like, I did not know that existed. So
I didn't either.
Yeah,
but
Anyways,
I gotta look that up.
I also want those full size those the statue figurine type things, like the ones that you have the 6 or 7 inch ones of, Lamont.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want those too, but that's gonna have to wait for another day.
I need a bigger house for those.
Yeah,
I thought about that. I wanted to get them so bad. I was like, nah, I don't have the room.
yeah. Well, I don't have the money. That's the problem now. I waited too long, so now they're super expensive.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know what's not expensive? This movie. TMNT 2007. So this was actually my first time rewatching this movie in probably 10 or 15 years. Well, probably at least 10 years. What are your guys' thoughts, just overall thoughts on this movie?
Okay. Lamont, you want to start or should I go in?
Oh, I'm still okay. I liked it. It was pretty dark. The only thing that I wish they'd fixed or changed was the fact that the turtles. Let me see. Okay, I was gonna say one time, but that's not true. Twice. They only got together to fight twice in the entire movie. To fight the bad guys twice in the movie. And I have a favorite scene. Oh God, it's probably one of two of my favorite scenes in the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get into that in a minute. But
I mean,
yeah,
this does have like one of the best Turtles fight scenes ever in a movie.
Yeah,
I will definitely give it that. I mean, it's only like 3 or 4 minutes long, but it's definitely the best fight scene in all the Turtle movies.
Yeah.
We'll get there, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was I knew exactly what you were talking about, and I'm excited to talk about that scene in particular.
Yeah, it's another one too, but I'm excited to talk about that too.
Ed, you look
this
upset.
This movie was not good. This movie was like something you throw on in a van on a car trip so your kids could be entertained, so you could drive
or take a nap.
Or take a nap. I was bored about this whole movie. Like, none of the fights was interesting. I didn't really care for the story. The fights was just like, I don't know if it was the editing for some of them or how they was drawn and like choreographed, but nothing in this movie stood out. Like, this could be on Cartoon Network during the Halloween showcase. Like, there's nothing to it. There's nothing interesting. Like, the music sound like you can put this in like Sega Rally or something. I'm like, this. I literally was just bored to death with this movie. I'm just like, this is something that I would throw in the background and cling to. I know part of the movie is kind of focusing on, once again, the cliche of Leo and Raphael.
Yeah, but I mean, as a reboot, like a lot of people who went and saw this movie probably didn't see the live action ones, right? Because this came out at the tail end of the Fox run of Ninja Turtles.
I think so, yeah.
So like that was probably a lot of people, like a lot of kids that went to see this, right? Probably that was their only connection to Ninja Turtles was that what do you call it? That era of Turtles, right? They probably didn't see the stuff that happened in the first 3 movies, you know? Because even though that's like a big part of their relationship, it's just, you know.
It reminds me of the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, where 13 ghosts escape and the Scooby-Doo and the gang has to kind of capture them back.
Only you could compare Ninja Turtles to Scooby-Doo.
But it is. I'm like, when you watch the intro to this movie, the it's so confusing. I'm like, okay, there's a war going on, and they bring this ring of power thing. The Dragon Ball 7 moons, whatever, line up, and the dude hits him. He's immortal, but then it also unleashes 13 beasts, and so from that time to the present time, these 13 beasts is around, and like, okay, so where were they hiding? Like, how did they all end up in New York or Manhattan or wherever the turtles are at?
Well, they show it though. Don't they come out of that portal?
They come out the portal, but where do they go after it? Like, where have they been
go
all this time?
They go wreak havoc, and then they hide.
Why is nobody like reporting on this? Because it feels like no one knows who they are. So you mean to tell me there's 13 monsters that have been on this planet for centuries, running around acting the fool, destroying stuff, and in the intro after that cold open, we get Leonardo stopping a little these guards and everything, and the people were just like, oh, who's the secret ninja? Who's this ghost and everything? And this Leonardo stuff. So the turtles don't know, the people don't know, like nobody knows. But these 13 beasts been around, so I'm just like, this doesn't make no sense. I can understand that if there was something that unleashed it, and the turtles just like, oh, we gotta fight these beasts to stop them. Great. The whole civilization of Central America don't know. So it's always, I'm just like, this doesn't make sense in the first place. Let me lay my head down.
I mean,
that makes total sense. I never thought of that. Wow. I mean, it's so true because, why how would they not know? Yeah, all this time.
And it's 13 of them. You mean to tell me all 13 of these monsters are in New York and they're not doing, they're supposed to be acting a fool, rampaging. You mean to tell me that New York is still just being a city, still living, two people drinking wine and eating pizza, just all of this crazy.
Haven't you ever seen any movie series? Haven't you ever seen any movie series ever that takes place in New York? The city gets destroyed, and then by the next movie, 2 years later, the whole city is fine. Everybody just is living their lives, going to work, eating pizza. Especially the fancy couple from Secret of the Ooze. They're really, they're really into their pizza.
Couple.
That's still the best / worst scene in any of these movies. It's
such nonsense in the movie. But it was just like, okay, so you guys, the plot is, I think Winston is his name. He gets this power of being immortal, and he thought it was going to be the end all be all. But his brothers and sisters get turned into stone. Time has passed. He has built his empire. He put this mechanical thing where it brings the stones to life, so they're able to like fight and run. And the goal is for him to collect the 13 monsters that was unleashed and send them back in time so that his brothers and sisters and him could go back to having a normal life and disappear and be the way they are. That's supposed to be the plot of and everything.
Yeah.
We kind of find out
terrible plot, by the way. Like, one of my I know turtles are like super weird and like I don't know, like, because if this is supposed to be like a sequel to like the other movies, and granted, I get the second one gets a little weird, and then obviously the time travel thing is really weird, but like, man, I just feel like that the tone of this movie just did not fit if this was trying to be a sequel,
right?
Yeah.
Although, like, they did totally set it up for like a sequel to this movie with Karai and the Foot Clan and stuff, which would have been super cool. Stop rebooting Turtles and then not giving us the sequel we deserve, because they did that with the Michael Bay movies too. They totally set up for a third movie, and I was so amped. And then I went online to look, and they're like, "Oh, third movie scrapped because did not do well in China." I'm like, oh, come on,
As you make $290 million.
Yeah, I think it made more than that.
I can't wait to talk about that one.
I'll just use that number for example.
So speaking of budget and box office, so this movie had a $34 million budget, which in 2007 for an animated movie is actually pretty high. And it only made $95.6 million worldwide in 2007.
Wow.
So it did not do very well. I think people were just like, this movie kind of came out at a time where nobody really cared about Ninja Turtles, right? Like the Fox show was on a downswing. Next Mutation was pretty bad. People like the video games weren't very good, right? Like, I mean, this was just a really down time for Turtles, right? I really don't think Turtles really turned around until Nickelodeon took over the license, right? In a lot of people's eyes, even though like I really like the Michael Bay movies. Like, I actually think the second one is awesome.
Yes, say
yeah.
But yeah, so this movie actually had quite the cast too. I mean, people that most people would be familiar with, and then like from the video game space, knowing voice actors and stuff, a lot of people from there too, right? So Patrick Stewart was voiced Winters. Chris Evans was Casey Jones. Sarah Michelle Gellar was April O'Neil. Ziyi Zhang was Karai. Kevin Smith was the diner cook. Lawrence Fishburne was the narrator in this movie.
Kevin Smith was the cook?
Yeah, Kevin Smith was the cook. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
John DiMaggio, people might know from Futurama and Gears of War, voiced Colonel Santino. Nolan North was Raphael. So yeah, there's a lot of names in this movie. Like, this was a pretty decent sized cast, and I bet that out of that $34 million budget, probably half of it went to Patrick Stewart. And
he was pretty busy because that was 2007, and then let's see, the X-Men movies started coming out. 2000.
2000. I think this was right when it was around the time that X3 had come out, like a year before this, I think.
That movie was forgettable.
Well, we're gonna do X-Men. If anybody's interested in doing X-Men, we're gonna do X-Men because I will say
side tangent. I love the Wolverine, the one he went to Japan.
Oh yeah, the Wolverine's awesome. The only bad part about that entire movie was the what's her name, the poison chick. I keep wanting to call her Venom, but that's not right. That movie was awesome. Like, I think we're gonna start revving up some X-Men stuff after.
Cool.
Towards if you guys are interested in doing that. I know, LaMont, you just raised your hand, so
yeah.
TBD on that. Especially because like by the time this comes out, I think Mark will have had his baby, so we're kind of putting the Avengers on ice for now. And so we're gonna need another superhero show, and I know Laron wants to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I've been kind of blowing through that in some downtime. Man, dude, 24.
I actually never watched that. I need to watch that.
Yeah, he wants to do that, so we're gonna do that. But anyways, back to Ninja Turtles. I actually kind of like the opening where Leonardo is kind of out, being on his own, trying to like, kind of get away and be like learning to be a better leader. But in turn, doing that, he kind of left his brothers high and dry, right? Like, Raph is the vigilante, right, with Casey Jones, and it's a cool story. I actually really like the Turtles side of the story in this. The execution, I actually think if this was a live action movie, the movie would have been a lot better kind of in a way.
Hmm.
I love the turtle designs in this movie. I really love the turtle designs in this movie. Uh, the like I said at the beginning though, like the rest of the characters look like they just fell out of a canceled Nickelodeon show.
Well, I will say the foot ninjas in this, I gotta give them to them. They were pretty good.
Yeah.
They're a lot more, I don't know, more mysterious
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
this.
Yeah, it felt like a callback to the first movie,
Yeah,
where they were
yeah,
really mysterious and you really didn't know where they came from or why they're still around. And Karai is a cool character.
yeah.
Yes.
After the original cartoon and the movies came out, I watched a little bit of the Fox run, but I never finished it, and I kind of went on to other things, because I was getting older and I was playing sports and I was doing all these other things, and I was just interested in other things at the time, and I just never really followed up on it. But this was like my first kind of real, I knew who Karai was, but this was like my first introduction to Karai as like a full character, and I was like, oh man, she's cool. She's really cool. I want to see more of this character. Um, so yeah, I like Karai. Lamont, maybe you have some insight into this because you're super Turtle fan 101, or why is April an archaeologist in this movie, or like a seller, and not a reporter? Did they change that somewhere?
No, they did not. I don't. To this day, I still don't understand why they went down that road. And even in the comics, in the comics, she was like, okay, she was a lab assistant to Baxter Stockman. And then in other areas, she was kind of a reporter, which is more on the '80s side, but she wasn't the. I don't know why I don't know why they changed their story up like that. It was really weird. Um, I would have been happy with her. Let me see. I think they just did that just to set up Winter's story, but they could have done that another way. I just don't see why they. I would have been happy if Casey Jones was an archaeologist, but I don't know. We had Casey Jones as a cop in the second Michael Bay movie, so I don't know. Anything's possible. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's true. I actually forgot he was a cop in that movie, but I mean, he kind of evolves into uh the Casey we know. But but the thing is too is I think the difference between Casey Jones being a cop in the Michael Bay movie and evolving, it shows him morphing into the Casey Jones that we know, whereas this is
Hmm.
she's just like, well, I've got these big crates and Casey's carrying them for me, and I'm going to sell them for money. And Max Winters is my client. It's stupid. They don't even acknowledge her
Yeah.
news career at all. It's really dumb. I don't care for it. Uh,
I think it's to fill in, them being as a team because Casey Jones and April O'Neil dated in the first place. Okay, you know that Casey Jones is a vigilante, so we got to get something for April, and April probably being trained by Splinter. So let's give her this job because not
yeah,
only
but if
can
if Max
she.
Winters has this giant tower that he lives in, he's clearly rich, and she could have done a kind of like a, what do you call it, like a report on his business or how he
Mhm.
made his
Yeah.
fortune or something,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
They
I
didn't.
think I
Yeah.
I think
True.
it was definitely used to set up her looking for Leo. So what it is just like, okay, you're looking for this thing. Let me get the information. Oh, it's Sister of America. I'm hearing reports or I'm hearing rumors that this mysterious man, stopping these enemies from robbing the village. I'm going to go check it out. So I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to get this artifact for my client, and he's going to pay me well, but yet we still live in a basic apartment. Don't know why. And I'm also going to look for Leonardo. And so, because I'm hearing all of these things, and the stuff that I'm hearing sounds like stuff that Leonardo would do. So they probably were just like, a reporter probably wouldn't do well in the story that they're trying to go for. So let's give her a new job and everything. Because she's kind of considered as one of the members of the Turtles of the team. So now you got 4 Turtles. You got Casey, you got April, and you got Leo. I mean not Leo, Splinter. So you got our 7-member team in a sense. So to fight the Foot Clan and whatever threat comes on, because now April's not running around being scared or anything. She's defending herself. She got a sword. Well, I should say a katana blade, a 2-edged sword probably.
Yeah.
She could defend herself, while also, being there for dating Casey. Because she pulls out the mask for Casey, just be like, I was saving this for you in case if you ever need it or a special occasion. So it's just like, my boyfriend is a fighter, so I want to be a fighter. But this archaeologist job, with me having it, this is a way for me to be able to get to Leo. Because this is how the writers put me as. And everything. So I think that's the only reason why they did it. I think as a reporter, of course she needs the yellow jumpsuit, she needs the red hair, I think they were trying to be like, this is a new time, this is a new story, a new era. Let's give her something completely different in order to get this to get this movie going and everything.
I could still see her as a reporter doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Heard the myth of the ghost of the jungle, and then she travels to South.
But then you got to realize she got to have a camera crew and all of that, because every time that April
not necessarily. I mean, look, in the Michael Bay movies, like, she has Vern, right? I mean that, and in the cartoon she has Vern. That's her thing. You could have easily put Vern in this movie to be the camera crew, or maybe Vern moves on to become an executive at the news station she works at, and you could have easily put Casey Jones in that role. Like, if you want to show them moving on with their lives, like, because so much time has passed, those are things you could have done to move them up, right? Where April is now a traveling field reporter, right? And Casey's her camera crew, and Vern becomes her boss, right? That's how you could have done that. We've sure talked a lot about April this episode, and I don't.
I think it's because she plays a vital role in this movie. They gave her something to do. They didn't give her nothing to do in the other movies. What did April do?
They could have been Look, they could have trained. They could be training her on the side. They could give her something to do, that she can be a reporter by day and a vigilante with them by night. That's what Casey Jones is. They could have done that with April. Just as easily done that. And later on in certain runs, she actually trains with them. So it's not like some unheard of thing.
But the vigilante part though is Raphael's thing in this movie.
It's also Casey Jones' thing. But I'm not saying she had to be a vigilante. I'm saying if you want to give her something to do and fight the bad guys at the end with them, she could have been training on her own. She already has a weapon in this movie. Granted, it disappears like 45 times in that opening, but it's there.
I mean, yeah, she's practicing, and that's why it feels like she's been. If we look at from a movie perspective, from the 3rd movie until now, I think she's been training with Splinter, and having. I mean, it is focusing on the Turtles fighting, in part of the movie, but she actually kicks tail when all 7 of them go to the end of the movie. and everything, to show off that she did something, that she's doing something. I think the reporting wouldn't do nothing because in the movie there's no one in the city. If you literally look at some of the screenshots, when April is driving the van, having the 13th monster chase them, no one is on the city in the city. Like, even only time we actually see somebody in the city is when they're at the diner, and it's the chef and it's the guy who's reading the paper who pushes the coffee over to get his refill. That's the only two people and the village people that we see. But they get cut off the movie in the beginning because Leonardo gave them their stuff back. It's the Robin Hood thing with Leonardo in that part. Everything else, you only see the turtles, you see Splinter, or you see Casey, and you may see April, but you actually seeing the Monsters, the Foot Clan, and Max and his family and the Stones. That's all you see throughout the whole thing.
Man, for somebody who didn't like this movie, you're defending it an awful lot.
I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just messing with you, Ed. I'm just messing with you because it's fun and easy and hilarious. It's good content.
I
love it.
Anyways, Michelangelo is currently being a turtle who is a fake turtle for birthday parties.
Didn't get that one either.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I feel like, I get that they're trying to show that the turtles are essentially bored because Shredder is gone, right? But like, what are they doing? What's happening with the turtles? Like, Donatello's not really doing anything. Raph's got this big metal suit and a motorcycle, apparently. Like, what's going on here?
So I think it's because of Leo leaving. They need something to occupy what they're doing, and it feels like the writers were just like, this city has crime, but it's not the crime since Shredder is really gone. And you don't really see the Foot Clan doing anything, having any kind of movement. So there's no really kind of crime in there for the turtles to go out and fight. Donatello has a IT job, and he's arguing with the old guy, or actually a lady and everything, and he's going out of his mind because he can't leave because he overthinks stuff. Michelangelo has the birthday party thing because it's supposed to be a fun gig, and Michelangelo is the person who is the fun of a party. He's the party dude. So give him that job and everything. But because the kids come and beat him up and everything at every party that he goes to, it's just like it's ruining him mentally, and he's getting tired. Raph is just like, Leo's not here because he ran off and did what he wanted to do. So I'm gonna do what I'm going to do. And since he's not here to help us protect the city, I'm gonna go out and protect the city. But what is Raph really doing? Yeah, you're stopping criminals, but you're stopping criminals who are just like regular thugs, like, and you're using like Castlevania weapons, like Symphony of the Night stuff. Like, what happened to you being able to? Because I don't know where he get all these chain weapons from. Like, how many do you have?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does Donatello get paid to be an IT tech? And if so, how does he get paid? Like,
how does Michelangelo get paid for doing
birthday
party?
I mean, you can go do birthday parties and get paid cash or whatever, right? I mean, you could totally do that. But like, yeah, I don't know how Donatello gets paid. Like, do the turtles have bank accounts? Are they wearing the trench coats and like the crazy face masks from the cartoons where they have like the fake nose and the sunglasses and the mustache where they walk in and like open a bank account? Because like, I'm going to tell you, after The Matrix came out, trench coats were frowned upon for a while. Okay.
yeah.
I don't see them going in to do that.
And where do they go to get the interviews to do these jobs? Like, are they now part of society? Because it's weird because um Splinter tells them when they about to get to the final battle, it's time for us to go back to the service and reveal ourselves. Hold on. You have to reveal yourself. Donatello has an IT job. Michelangelo goes to parties.
I didn't think of that.
Like,
Yeah, but to be fair, Michelangelo, they think he's a person dressed up as a fake turtle. And Donatello talks on the phone. Technically, they're not. It's time to reveal themselves as turtles, the Ninja Turtles, not as like these fake people, right? Like, but also, if these are supposed to be sequels to the live action movies, they've already revealed themselves twice.
Yeah.
So, what's that about?
and I feel like when Leo came back and they went to find out what was going on at that construction site, it really made them feel like, oh, we're a team again. So I think that's, because we don't see the IC job. We hear Michelangelo just like, Leo, I'm so glad you're back. I have nightmares of birthday parties.
Yeah.
Wow. And one of the real crazy thing is that none of them are eating pizza a lot in this movie. Like, pizza is not a factor in all of this or anything.
That's true. That is true. But they have like cereal. I think that's all I saw them eat. Cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's only they didn't even really eat pizza in this movie either.
No.
Very disappointed because the Blu-ray comes in a pizza box. So just throwing that out there. They didn't eat pizza, but the Blu-ray comes in a pizza box. Just miss. Man, what was Michelangelo's name in this movie? Like his party name, Cowabunga something.
Cowabunga Carl.
Cowabunga Carl. God, so stupid.
Cowabunga Carl.
and he drove the
van.
Turtle van.
Yeah, with his head bobbling on it. Where did they go to get that? That's custom. How do they order that?
Yeah.
No, but this is the question. Do they have a hole in the van? Because I think Michelangelo gets out the car and then his big self get underneath the car to go into the sewer. And it's just like, wait a minute. You had to lift the car up because your shell would have got caught. How in the heck were you able to get in this mug with a skateboard in your head?
Yeah. Also, by the way, I'm glad he left the skateboard at the top of the stairs in this scene. And then when he goes to sit down on the couch, the skateboard's in front of the couch. I'm just going to throw that out there, too. Yeah, so do we want to touch on the Night Watcher stuff, too? Because, like, Raph is, like, the only one still kind of fighting crime. But for some reason, instead of being a Ninja Turtle, he decides to be a different type of vigilante. I guess so he can be more aggressive and like
giant metal turtle.
Yeah. Also drives a motorcycle, and Casey is kind of like his partner, which is hilarious because Raph's wearing this huge metal suit and Casey's still just wearing the mask. It's like,
so
why don't they have matching uniforms if they're partners, right?
It's very Batman and Robin of this.
I get it, but like it's still stupid. Like Casey doesn't have any armor on at all. He just has the face mask. I understand that Raph wants to be hidden, but why is he wearing this giant metal tank suit? Like he could just wear a mask too, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then he rides a motorcycle, which is like cool, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, like the concept is cool, right? But also like when and we'll get to this in a little bit, but like when Leo knocks the mask off when he's on top of the building and like they start fighting, like really fighting, when Leo kind of realizes he's the Night Watcher. That scene's the best scene in the entire run of movies. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, do we have anything else to say about the Night Watcher? I mean, I kind of like I kind of forget, were they the ones chasing the monsters initially?
With Karai, yes,
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah. So
And then one of them started chasing Raph and Casey.
right, because that's when they start running into each other. Like that's when they run into Karai and like realize like the Foot Clan might be a bigger problem in a not released sequel. Which I'll read the plot synopsis to the sequel, and it actually sounded really cool. I'll read it later, but the plot synopsis to the sequel sounded really cool. I don't know, Lamont, are you familiar with the comic run City at War, where Michelangelo joins the Foot Clan because he feels like he doesn't belong with his brothers?
No, this is the first I've heard of it.
Okay, so I'll just read it real quick. TMNT 2 would have
I need to know this.
Yeah, TMNT 2 would have loosely been adapted from the Turtles' 13-part comic book saga City at War. Michelangelo feels like an odd man out amongst his brothers, not being taken seriously. With the best intentions, the character runs away and joins the Foot Clan, donning a black bandana. Meanwhile, the Turtles travel to Japan and cross paths with Karai in an adventure resulting in the return of their arch nemesis Shredder, which they were kind of hinting that Karai was trying to bring Shredder back in some capacity at the end of this movie.
That's true.
TMNT 3 would have featured the the Triceratons as well as the Technodrome's arrival from Dimension X, with Donatello being a catalyst for these events. Let's see.
I wish they did that.
Yeah. There are even poster designs already in mind for TMNT 2. A wet city street, a manhole cover, and Mikey's orange bandana lying on the ground. So yeah, that's kind of the plot synopsis for the sequels that never came out. Which that second movie sounds kind of cool, actually. Sounds really cool. Actually, the plot for the second movie sounds really cool, and probably what TMNT 3 should have been in the live action movies if they're going to Japan. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
But no, we got this scene. You know, and then we got Kermit the Frog posing as Splinter in the window of the subway car, just doing one of these things. Wow. You know, it's terrible. All right, I guess we should probably touch on the main villain of this movie, Max Winters, and like the plot of this movie. What do you think of this character in particular?
I can't call him a villain.
Well, he kind of is.
Like, I mean, yeah, he kind of is.
I mean, he's like,
I felt for him in his backstory, but
yeah, I mean, I guess like villain in the like hard sense of the word is probably the wrong term, but like he's definitely the catalyst for this entire movie. You know, like his backstory and the events that happen are definitely running through him. You know.
Yeah, he feels a lot of definitely he does feel a lot of guilt, and he's cursed for life with that, and that I do understand that part. Yeah.
He was a basic bled white guy with.
Well, you're just talking about me now, Ed.
Not you. I mean, you have immortality. This is what you wanted. You got what you wanted. So, what are you complaining? He should have been trained to be able to get all 13 of those monsters. Yes, your brothers and your sister got it. They got turned into stone, which really doesn't make sense. So, why you had all this time, to figure out how to get your brothers and sisters back and everything? Like, you didn't need to wait to modern time for the Ninja Turtles for you to get them back. You already knew what your quest was, because this literally could have been a separate movie that didn't even need the turtles. I I am immortal. I could go. I could live throughout time. Even if I get hurt, I'm gonna come back to life because I can't die. So my goal is, let me get these 13 monsters, do a monster hunter capture, throw them somewhere, and then when the time is right, hopefully I can figure out when the planets line up, send them us back, and we return back to normal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I wish they would have just gone with like the Karai stuff. Like, I wish they would have just done that, like the Return of the Foot Clan and Karai brings them back. Like, why was
I would
that
have
so
been
hard?
happy with that.
Like,
I would have been really happy with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
they could have done so many cool things, like Karai, and maybe even like Tatsu is back, as like a mentor to her because Shredder's dead.
Ooh,
Like they could have done
yeah.
like they could have totally done something like that. And I don't know. I feel like this character and these villains were just a waste, Or like bring back characters that if you're not going to do Shredder, at least bring in characters that people know, like I don't know, Baxter Stockman or Slash or Rat King or Leatherhead or like any of these characters. You could have brought in. There are at least 100 other characters you could have brought in besides this guy.
We needed someone threatening against the turtles. Someone
All
who
these
knows
characters are
that.
threatening. Karai is threatening. Karai is scarier
What?
than Shredder in some comic runs.
Oh,
More
she
threatening
is.
in a way. More threatening in a way of paying attention of, okay, if one of my Foot Clans is doing a video caption of Leonardo and Raphael arguing and stuff, let me do something to break that bond and everything. Let me get into some manipulation and everything. Okay, now let me see what ref. Okay, oh, they got two more brothers, Donatello and Michelangelo. How can I break them up also? Like, literally break the Ninja Turtles
Yeah, but you
and
can split
then
them
go
up.
out.
You can split them up. There's no there's no shortage of history of the turtles like splitting up from each other, right?
Hmm.
There are so many storylines that you could have like morphed one in to fit this, right? Like, I don't know, the first movie where Raph and Leo get in a fight and Raph leaves, or like, I don't know. I mean, you could use the third movie as an example too, where Mikey goes off, right? But like, there are ways to split the turtles up and get them arguing with each other to make them less formidable against Karai and the Foot Clan. And like, Karai is smart and manipulative and scary
Hmm.
in her own right. You could have morphed a story around her, you know. And I don't know, maybe if you wanted to bring in like another like villain group to even like you could have brought in like the Red Dragons or something too, like you don't
You got
have to have this
you
crazy
got this.
supernatural crazy rock people.
You can literally fast five this and get four Ninja Turtles that's going to, or four enemies that kind of match or even better than the Ninja Turtles, and like get them,
Well,
show them
that
how weak they are when they are in the emotional state and they're away from each other and they're broken
right. But
and
like,
everything.
even if you wanted to bring in a bigger other mutants besides like to fight the turtles with the Foot Clan, Bebop, Rocksteady, you could have brought in other mutants to fight back. Like, I think
Hmm.
you could have done Bebop, Rocksteady, Baxter Stockman, and you could have brought in Metalhead or something. You could have brought in four mutants that people know and love. Like, I feel like you could have done something better with the storylines that exist already that have not been on screen, and
Yeah.
not have to deal with this. oh, I'm the rich white guy who lived forever, and all my friends are rock people, and I'm trying to buy them because I'm selling them as art, but then I'm putting them back in this portal. That's so stupid. I'm sorry. And then save the portal stuff for when you bring Krang and the Technodrome and Dimension X into it. Why would you use the portal thing twice? In the same trilogy that you're planning, even though this didn't get sequels, that was the plan.
It literally was Dragon Ball meets some Yu-Gi-Oh mess meets the Ninja Turtles with Scooby-Doo 13 Ghosts added on. Like, this is 17,000 plots. There's a bunch of nonsense that is animated for kids because they're in the car and they're going to Arizona, some long drive, and they are getting on daddy and mommy's nerve. So we're going to throw this on so we can put them to sleep. This is the level of nonsense that it is on. And I understand this is 2007, but DC has some animated movies that will wipe this completely out.
I mean, yeah, they do. They do. They have animated series and movies. Mask of the Phantasm, Red Hood, Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker. Like, DC has a ton of movies that are way better than this that came straight to DVD.
Yeah, they're
So,
amazing too.
Yeah. Dude, Mask of the Phantasm and Return of the Joker are amazing movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, you need
Red
to watch
Hood-
the Justice.
Go ahead, Ed.
I like
Oh
Batman.
no, not the Justice League. The Suicide Squad. They got an animated Suicide Squad where they are trying to go. They go to Arkham. Man, if you want fight scenes, you want some good choreographed animated fight scenes, you go watch that one. The fight scenes in that movie will put every fight scene in this movie to shame. Heck, the one when Batman goes to Japan, back in time in Japan, and you got the Joker as the what is he?
Is he like the samurai or the Ronin or something?
Kind of, yeah. Like he's the top one, and I cannot think of it. They take all the well-known villains in the Batman series, 7 of them, and turn them to different clans and everything. And it's amazing because at the end, it's a ninja mech anime from America. And it's as bonkers as it is, everything fits.
Yeah.
And I feel like nothing in this movie fits.
No,
I love that April. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish. I
love that April has something to do where they could have actually used something to do. I mean, actually could use her in the movie, but there's nothing in this movie that really gives her anything to do. So whether she was an archaeologist or
well, then give her a smaller role. Then, like, you don't have to like. I get just because the characters exist it doesn't mean you have to use them. She could have taken a backseat for a movie,
So I would have loved her and Casey Jones to have a little fight. Now, LaMont.
Well, I would have liked I would have liked them to like been like a cause like a diversion for the Turtles at some point in the last kind of whatever, right? Except now, like, if you're gonna go in and be stealthy and scary, let's put on this bright yellow fake Batman suit. It's bright yellow, guys. Can't see me, that suit bothered me a lot. By the way, April's like fight suit or whatever it is.
Well, so LaMont, have you seen Street Fighter 2, the animated movie?
Oh, I did.
You seen that fight when Chun-Li fights Vega in the apartment?
Oh gosh, that sounds like a
brutal.
Corey, if you get a chance to watch it because you will understand why. I would love a fight with Casey Jones and April fighting one of the 13 monsters in their apartment, and they captured them. And
why don't we do that movie too? Like, so side tangent, talking shop for 5 seconds, right? Like, so with Mark being out with his kid, congratulations, Mark, by the way, super happy for you.
Congratulations.
But with him being out for a while, like, Avengers is on hold. Disney's probably on hold, right, for a little bit. So like we need to fill some episodes. I mean, we already talked about X-Men a little bit, but why don't we do like a Batman trilogy or like Street Fighter movies? Or because like I've never seen. Ed, this is gonna blow your mind. First of all, another side tangent on the side tangent. How's come every time we talk about a bad Ninja Turtles movie, we always end up talking about Batman instead? Because like when we did the movie commentary for the third movie the first time for Nerds Gone Rogue, we talked about Batman the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about it now. We talked about it a little bit the last movie. Like, why do we always end up talking about Batman? Second off, like, why don't I think LaMont, you're great at talking about these things. I want you more involved in this show in particular. Like, why don't we do stuff like this? Because like, Ed, this is gonna blow your mind, but I've never seen either Mortal Kombat movie. I've never seen the Street Fighter movies. I've never there's a bunch of video game movies that we still
I
need
haven't
to
seen
do.
the Mario movie. Lamont.
Yeah, that 1993 movie.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers. I've never seen that. I've seen House of the Dead. I've never seen Postal. Like
But that's what I'm saying.
Some of the garbage video game movies I haven't seen.
Why don't we just set up a like every week or every other week we talk about some video game movies?
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
like
because
I know we want to do the Ninja Turtles Batman movie. I definitely want to do X-Men, like just to have content coming out. You know, I think that would be really cool if we got together a couple times a month and just talked about video game movies. You know, and like
because
that'd be great.
let's get in a group chat, like a group. I don't care if it's Discord or Twitter or text message or whatever. Like, let's get in a group chat and figure out like what days we're available and, you know, record 2 or 3 of these things with the movies in mind.
Yeah, because Street Fighter, the animated movie, I think, because me and Lamont watched it, but Corey, I think you would literally enjoy this. I think you would be like, this was in the 90s. They were doing this kind of style. And, like, you would get into it because what's going to happen, what will happen is that if you watch the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, you'll be like, okay, I understand what they were going for. That's camp. And then see the Street Fighter animated movie, you'd be like, what the heck happened? Why the real life movie is not this animated movie?
That the fight that Ed mentioned between Vega and Chun-Li, it's
still to this.
I'll have to watch it.
I don't want to spoil anything, but it really looks like Chun-Li is killed. It is brutal. You know what? I'm going to rewatch that tomorrow.
But
I haven't watched that in years.
But it stands out because this was something in anime that people were looking for when it came to fight scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we knew that Japanese movies had some of the best choreographed fights in some of the 60s, 70s, the reverse backflip, wire fu kind of movies. And to see that stuff in animated form, like you weren't seeing that in America or anything. So to see that the Ninja Turtles in this movie, you guys you have 35 million, and I know this is all CG, but there should have been a way to be like, how do we animate some cool fight scenes for this?
Yeah.
You know, like they have their weapons. Like, who's going to talk about Michelangelo's nunchucks? Who's going to talk about Donatello bow and everything? These turtles, I can understand that if they got together and they were trying to get back to, you know, where they were being cool, fighting and everything, with their weapons, yes, let's do that. But if you feel like the Leo and Raphael fight scene was the bomb, okay, cool. that should have been almost every fight scene in the movie.
Yeah,
where the
there is
weapons
definitely
are being used in creative use.
there's definitely not enough fighting in this movie, and I understand that in 2007, like, unless you were Disney or Pixar, I would argue even Disney was struggling at this time for computer animation. Like, you were not getting top tier animation, right? And I just think that Turtles is a couple steps below what was coming out, and I get it. Not everybody can be Disney or DreamWorks, right? Especially in that time. But like, give them a little bit of a bigger budget. Get some get some sort of like specialized animators in there, and give us some cool fight scenes. There was not a lot of fighting in this movie, like at all. And when there was, like we said, the best part of this entire movie is when Raph and Leo fight each other, and that scene is what, maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, maybe. So I mean, I don't know. This movie is not great, and if this was a revival of the Ninja Turtles, it did not do it any favors, you know.
Your fight scene shouldn't be on the same level as the Harry Potter movies, where the kids are in a school of magic and they're doing more running than Scooby Doo. It should not be on that level.
Hold on. There's a lot of good stuff in Harry Potter. I don't know what you're watching.
How many times have they ran three kids in a magic school?
If there was a troll chasing you, wouldn't you be running too?
I would be I'm in the school of magic. I'm about to use every kind of spell that I could use.
They're learning. They don't know. They don't know what they're doing yet.
I would be making up some twist of some made up words. Some hickory dookity dots.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We're reining it back in because we're gonna do Harry Potter at some point too. I think we're gonna do Harry Potter in the lead up to Hogwarts Legacy. Actually, I think is probably the plan.
I might watch all the Harry Potter movies. Never saw them.
I may have to buy some alcohol and play a drinking game. How many times have they read this?
You know what? Stephanie will watch them with me. My wife will watch them with me. Okay, we'll get some real Harry Potter fans in here. Ed, you're fired. All right. So let's
watch it.
We're already over the hour mark on this episode. Let's try to like rein it back in. The end of this movie is also not very good. Lamont, I'm going to send it your way first. What are your thoughts on the end of this movie? We didn't even hit like half of the points here, but I mean,
okay, I'm trying to remember are we talking about the exact ending?
No, just like the last third ish.
Okay.
Where he kind of reveals where he's immortal, and then they kind of are trying to do the thing.
Yeah. So like I said at the beginning, like the Turtles only got together and fought against their enemies twice in the whole movie. This one, the Turtles didn't really. I mean, I guess they couldn't really do much to the Stone Warriors because, they're stone. And the only way they could feed them was kick them into a portal. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like you're about where I'm at there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. I just wish there were more fighting. And
yeah.
I will say that one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when Raphael, Dante, Michelangelo, the rest of them, infiltrated the building to rescue Leonardo, and they had to fight all the foot. That was my favorite part. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, but I want more of that.
That was that's what I meant. But I wish there was more of it because that was only like. I think that was like 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anywhere where there was more movement than just like walking around or pointing at something was only like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
and I get at the time that took a lot of rendering and a lot to process and probably cost a lot of money the more movement there was, but like Ninja Turtles is not like a slouchy IP, even in its downtime, right? Like it's an IP people love and cherish, right? I mean, you're looking at 3 of them right here, but like, spend a little bit more money. You know, who put this out? Warner Brothers at the time. Is that who put this out?
Yeah. This production company was Imagi Animation Studios, and then distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures for the United States, and then the YC company from International.
Yeah, you're freaking Warner Brothers, and you're not funding this movie. You know, like, I don't know. Like, I understand that you are trying to fund some Batman movies at this point, right? Some great Batman movies, but like, Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises made over $1 billion and came out around this time. Give some of that money to the Ninja Turtles, you know? Just yes. You know.
Dark Knight Rises, yes. Okay, I didn't bring them up this time.
No, I know. I actually want to. I haven't watched that entire trilogy in a while, and I want to see how they hold up. We got to do that too. All right, so we got X-Men, we got Batman, and we got video game movies on the list.
Doc.
Great.
Yeah, a lot of watching to do.
Yeah, we do. It's fine. That's good. We got a plan, though. That's the thing. All right. So, yeah. So here we are, and so actually, one of my favorite parts in this entire movie actually is the end, like the very very end, when that shows the shelves behind Splinter when he's like putting Winter's helmet next to all like the trinkets from the past, and like you see Shredder's helmet sitting there.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my gosh, that's like, that was like, oh, that was, it brought feels, even though like we literally just watched this movie, and like I watched that first Ninja Turtles movie at least once a year, right? Like I love that Shredder aesthetic from that movie, and to see the helmet, like, you know, almost 20 years later at this point when this movie came out, right? 17 years later, it was just like, oh man, that's so cool that they still like acknowledge that. So
yeah, but the Time Scepter was there too.
Yeah, it was laying on the middle shelf on the one side. Yeah, that was there too.
Yeah.
But like, I don't care about that because I don't like that movie. But I mean, I actually liked it better the last time when we did it, the last movie.
Yeah.
But I actually liked it more than I expected. It's still like not great, but the Time Scepter. There was something else there too. There was something. I think the TGRI canister was on the shelf too.
It was. Top shelf.
Yeah.
On the left, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ed, any final thoughts on this movie?
I will say I do like the part where Ralph gives Leo his source to say, you're going to need this. You know, when after he broke Leo's katanas and then showed Splinter on what he did, and you know, Splinter is saying that, hey, you may not be my favorite student, but you are one of my favorite sons. You know, and then just telling him that you can be a leader, but you have all of this stuff that you need to overcome. And I think that's when Ralph kind of realized that, you know, that's the qualities that Leo has that I have and everything. This is why he's a leader, because he's humble, he's compassionate, he's all of this. And then when you literally see that, when he has on the katana blades, it's just like, this is what makes you a leader, Raphael. If anything had happened to Leo, take what you learned from your brother and be able to leave Donatello or Michelangelo because of that and everything. So I really did like that part. And I will say, I do like the part that when they're all jumping around, you know, kind of showing that they are ninjas, and Raphael is saying, One thing for certain, we'll always be brothers and
Hmm.
everything, you
Yeah.
know. And I think that's a really strong message for this movie, even though a lot of it wasn't shown. But when they do all work together, it makes them more enjoyable to watch and
Yeah.
everything.
Hmm.
You know, with Ralph fighting with Leo, Donatello helping Mike. Like, and I think that's what I like in even the real life ones and the other ones. When they like double team or they choreograph something around all four of them doing something, that's that shows you what teamwork is. And when the
Yeah.
turtles do that, it's so cool because it really shows that we're on the same level. And when the turtles get on the same level, they become very powerful as a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so um, that's kind of what I like at the ending. Um, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay, so there I have a picture pulled up and a list on Reddit of the Easter eggs on the shelf from uh the 2007 movie. The TGRI canister is there, the time scepter is there, Shredder's mask is there. Also the helmet from the third movie, the
Oh,
like the helmets when they get transferred back for the first time and they're riding on the
Hmm.
horses, those helmets and the masks are
I
there.
don't remember that. Huh.
Uh, there is a let's see, there's a shield and a longhorned helmet from a reference from one of the cartoons in here, like a samurai helmet with long horns. And then Splinter's robe from the original movie is also hanging up.
Oh, nice.
So there's a lot more stuff here. Somebody said there's a mouser in this picture too, but I don't really see it unless this is it broken on the bottom shelf here. But
I gotta look at that again. I didn't know all those was on there, or maybe I just didn't remember.
yeah, I mean, I think it's just references for people who like, you know, if you grew up in the 90s watching those movies, there's references for you there. If you watch the cartoon, there's references. If you watch the second cartoon, there's reference. You know, there's probably just references from all different types of
Hmm.
Turtles lore in there. Um, all right, well, it's time. It's time to rank this thing. I don't know. I feel like we're all kind of pretty much in the same boat, but we should probably make it official here. Let's see. Let me find the standard def thing in the thing. All right, so edit this guy. Edit message. Okay, so our current ranking right now is number 1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. Number 2 is Secret of the Ooze, and number 3 is Turtles in Time. Where would we rank TMNT?
I'm going with four. I'm sorry, there was nothing in this that made me. I, three has its problems, but three is a little bit more enjoyable, and it was easier to watch.
Mm-hmm.
This one just felt like I threw it on and just let it play and got nothing out of it really.
Yeah.
You know, I had my complaints. I made my jokes and stuff, but in reality, this one is just a Nick cartoon for an afternoon special. Like it did nothing. So
I
I'm
would
putting it
argue
as
the
number
Nickelodeon
four.
cartoon that came after this is better. Way better. Uh,
Uh,
Lamont, where do you have this movie sitting?
I like it. I think I'm gonna place this on. I'll place this on 4 too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I have it sitting. Also, is
Yeah.
sitting in that last spot. There wasn't really a theme song or any kind of music, notable music in here.
Now,
So we can't
there,
really rank the theme
yeah.
song, I guess. Uh, I'm just gonna put TMNT non-existent. All right. So, all
I
right.
like how you played the game. You said you played the game, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could talk a little bit about the game, right? I mean, it kind of just follows the story of the movie, but I mean, obviously they changed stuff so they don't spoil the movie, but like, there's it's pretty cool. It's built on the for those who like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time for GameCube and PS2 and the original Xbox. It's built on that engine, and there's a lot of cool wall running and acrobatics, and the combat feels pretty similar. Uh, it's just a level based platformer with some kind of basic combat, but there's these really cool moves like there where you kind of call in another turtle to help you do a combo move. Like if you're like each level you're a different turtle in each level, right? So you have to play as the turtle that they tell you to play as. Uh, and so like when you're playing as a turtle and you call in Raphael comes in and like throws you at the enemy because he's the strongest, so he throws you. And Michelangelo has some pretty cool quick moves, and um, I mean it's not like the greatest game in the world or anything, but if you have an Xbox 360 or a GameCube or a PS2 laying around, I would recommend playing it. It's a quick, fun. If you're into Ninja Turtles, it's probably the one of the better Ninja Turtles games that came out after the 16-bit era. So, uh, it's
Yeah,
it's
it's pretty neat. There's a part on there where should I mention this?
yes,
Spoil. Okay. So I absolutely love the dialogue in this game. Leonardo talks about he's reminiscing about the night they destroyed Shredder.
mm-hmm.
You actually fight Shredder,
Mm-hmm.
leading up to his death and all that. You actually fight Shredder, and
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that's I didn't expect them to do that.
yeah.
So
It was a cool because you can't have a Ninja Turtles game without Shredder, right?
no,
I mean,
no,
you really can't.
no. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm really. I mean, of course, I'm excited. I mean, Ed, you were with me with the announcements, but they're
Hmm.
making a big budget Ninja Turtle game for next year.
Yeah, I wonder what
I
that's
can't
gonna look
wait.
like. I'm telling
I
you,
hope.
if it is not a dark Ninja Turtle story, like I don't need it to be like Batman dark, but like I want it like 1990s Ninja Turtle dark. Look, they already showed the perfect character models in Injustice. Okay,
Hmm.
just give me
Hmm.
those character models. Give me those character models. Give me some sort of. I would say, I would actually say, Arkham Asylum style game.
Yes.
Because you could do some intricate things in the sewer systems, right? You could bring in Rat King and Leatherface and the aliens and slash through the sewers. You could do some cool stuff at the city level with like I don't know, Bebop, Rocksteady, Toka, Razor, that kind of level of character. You could bring the blimp in for some aerial stuff. You could do some rooftop stuff with Baxter Stockman, and this game could do some really interesting things if they cater the game in a direction that isn't for children. Which I know it's
Hmm.
Nickelodeon. I know it's probably going to end up like that garbage GI Joe game that came out last year or 2 years ago, and be just like a kids thing, or these kind of that what was that Nickelodeon All Star Brawl with no budget, no voice acting.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
this,
I was.
look,
Yeah.
give give a team like $125 million budget. Give me a Batman Arkham style Ninja Turtles game, and I guarantee you're going to sell way more copies because it is a quality product that people actually want to play. And because, like, I mean, no offense, but who was buying Batman games before Arkham Asylum came out? You know,
Yeah,
moms for their
that's
kids,
true.
moms for their kids.
Mm,
and Ed apparently. You know,
But after Batman Returns, which was also designed by Konami, like
well,
in the Sega Genesis, Batman and Robin.
I'm talking like N64 through like the original Xbox era. I'm not talking about the Sunsoft game or like the side-scrolling beat 'em ups. I'm talking about like the Batman Begins video game or the bad platformer based off the animated series.
Oh, that they were decent enough, but it was nobody really was buying it because first of all, they weren't really in stores. If they were in stores, they only probably got 2 copies and then they disappeared because I've never seen a lot of those games in stores.
Look, I'm telling you, they weren't much better than Superman 64. So, in my opinion,
I didn't see them much either. So, to be honest with you, I just remember seeing bad reviews.
Yeah.
in the magazines.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I wasn't gonna try it anyways, but
yeah.
Licensed games.
All right, so our final ranking or not our final ranking, but our current ranking is number 1, 1990, number 2, Secret of the Ooze, number 3, Turtles in Time, and number 4, 2007. So we are adding the Batman Ninja Turtles crossover movie to this list. Are we doing that next, or do we want to do the Michael Bay ones next?
Well,
let's do the Michael Bay ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012, and then Out of the Shadows are the next 2 movies that we will do. And then we will do the Batman TMNT crossover movie. And then that will kind of wrap up Ninja Turtles. We do have other stuff planned. As you heard on the show tonight, we are planning and pre-planning and extra planning. And so Standard Definition is on a roll recently, and it excites me. We also have episodes of Ranking Nintendo coming up. I think as of this recording, there should be, I think, GameCube and DS are the next couple episodes of Ranking Nintendo. We're also doing a special one-off episode of the Cowabunga collection, the recent collection of Ninja Turtles games coming up, so you can check that out. And check out our previous episodes of Standard Definition. Really appreciate everybody watching it. Lamont, Ed, thank you for your time tonight, as always. Lamont, where can we find you?
Thank you for being here. You can find me on Boss Rush Network under TMNT Dork. I'm also on Discord. Check me out on there, and yeah.
Ed?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatBretCode and on Instagram at that same name. You can also find me on Discord, find me on Boss Rush Network, and on BossRush.net, and on our YouTube page, Boss Rush Network, with Nintendo Power Block and Nintendo Expansion Pass, Talk the Walk, and other podcasts and content that we produce on the site and on our YouTube page. And yeah, like Corey mentioned, check out Ranking Nintendo. We are getting ready, or probably by the time you guys see this, we will have our discussion about the GameCube, which is going to be very well that people have been asking for, that they want to see what we think about. So yeah, and yes, and if you guys want to get this content earlier, do sign up to be a Patreon. Just $1, but if you really want to support us, a $5 contribution to be a Patreon producer will also help us. So yeah.
Yes. You can find me at IamCoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on various other things here on the Boss Rush Network, including Nintendo Power Block, the Boss Rush Podcast, and other things here. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Radical dude! Bye, already.